You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
This is Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner. Very exciting time. It is TBT sign day, and we are hyped. And first of all, Charge, I think it's not without saying we have probably the best guest tonight of any show. We have, and we're going to have to change that. The man, Ott Elmore's our guest analyst. Ott, what's going on tonight?
Nothing, just, got back from the gym. Made a big announcement today. Figured, this is my last TBT, so better get my shot right and get a little work on the elliptical, make sure I can play some minutes this year.
Yeah, so obviously, last year, finished up a little bit short, and so this being your last run, obviously expecting big things out of Heard that. So I believe you have your core, your team coming back.
Yeah, we have all the Marshall guys set and ready to go. We always bring in a couple of transfers, so to speak. So we're just waiting for them to get finished with their year before we start reaching out to those guys. Let them take care of their business, finish the season strong, finish their playoffs. But yeah, we plan to make a pretty good run at this year.
And we're showing the question: will Ott wear the recovery sandals this year at TBT like he did last year?
I'm hoping that I won't have to wear the sandals this year. My back sort of went out, and sandals on the bench apparently with socks wasn't a great look. But
I thought it was pretty tough, actually. That was pretty nice, actually.
But hopefully this year will be all tennis shoes.
Yeah, good. Got to see you start to finish. 33-point contest. You and John draw straws yet, or?
I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about it when he gets home. He just broke his shooting hand not too long ago.
Oh, no.
in their league overseas. So I think I'll be able to convince him to let me do it because I've been practicing while he's been recovering.
Right on. Yeah, what was interesting, this is what's kind of cool about the Best Virginia Heard that rivalry. Within seconds of you announcing your return, your last dance, John Flowers was online getting ready, getting excited to lock you up this year.
Yeah, he's been he keeps telling me that, but we haven't been able to meet up. But it's all good with us and them. It's a rivalry, when we're on the court. But it's a small state, and so like they come down and they play pickup down our way. So we're in the gym with them a lot, throughout the year. So we wish them nothing but the best, except of course when they play us. So it's he's a good dude, and we all have fun with each other.
We put the tweet up now. John Flowers at JFlow41 says, "Welcome back. Can't wait to lock you up. # Best Virginia."
Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup. Something that came up, some conversations we had yesterday, with a rivalry like that, like you said, you guys haven't met up yet. Would you rather throw the seeds out the window and face Best Virginia in round one, just get it over with?
I wouldn't want to play them round one. Because, with it being in Charleston, we'd like to have good crowds for all the games. When we got put out in the second round this year, we lost a lot of the Herd fans, and, the atmosphere sort of suffered. So hopefully, we can both advance as far as we can. But until we get to that point, that way we keep the Charleston and the West Virginia fan base, engaged. And because, it's not fun playing in a 10,000-seat gym with 200 people there. But, if we can bring our 5 or 6 and they can bring their 5 or 6 and, have a pretty good atmosphere, we'd like that.
Love it. Yeah, West Virginia, they didn't have a lot of breaking news, but they did announce that Jashawn Page is coming back. So he played, I guess it was 3 years or so ago down in Richmond. Unfortunately got injured, but that was their big news of the day besides the usual. So any reaction to Page being on the court against you?
No, I mean, he's a great player. We've played pickup with him in Charleston before. Of course, I've watched him, what he's done at West Virginia, and of course followed his career, between G League and overseas. And, that's a great pickup for them. I think it hurt him a little bit when he wasn't there last year, but, he's one of their guys, and look forward to hopefully getting to play them.
Yeah, looking at these matchups too, seeing the whole thing with Best Virginia and Herd, we mentioned finagling the seedings to make this happen. So you guys would have a very tough matchup that's held against a D2 squad that's really, really nice. So that would be a very death-defying thing to even get to a game. So hopefully we can see a Best Virginia Herd that. But it's going to be a tough matchup. How do you see a path like this working out for Herd, Scott?
Just myself, is I'd like to see us be the 1 seed. I thought with Team 23 not being in the region and winning it all, I thought we played them closest. But I think really what happened is TBT's confident in the team we're going to be. So, if they had a choice between us and West Virginia at the 4 seed, they figured we were more likely to win against a tougher matchup. So I figure that's why they put us down there, just to make sure we can ensure that matchup. We got to let that West Virginia team get a cupcake to get through there.
To be absolutely fair, TBT didn't have anything to do with this. This is me in charge of guesses. So we asked the poll. We put a poll up on the podcast. How criminally underseeded is Herd? And we'll come back to that. Obviously, Ott has an opinion about that. Now, Ott, also, we want to talk a little bit, though. We are talking about you being not just talking about Herd, but also being a guest analyst. Would you like to take your stab at the job of actually analyzing other teams coming in?
Yeah, let's give it a try. I listen to your guys' podcast, every single one you've done for the last couple of years. So hopefully I can I've learned something, thing or two.
Well, we're going to bring in a guest. We've got Willie Williams coming on the board. We're going to bring in Willie. Willie, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, guys. How are you guys?
Doing great.
What's up, Willie?
Big signing news for everybody. So first of all, Willie, tell our listeners what team you are fronting.
The Peoria All-Stars. So heard that beat us in the bubble. So I got to give my man Odd. He was talking mad trash, but it was cool, though.
It was a great game in the bubble.
Yeah, it was fun. We had fun.
So who do you think you're coming with, Willie? Talk a little bit about how your roster and signing day is starting to work out with.
Well, I got some surprises. I can't reveal all of them, but I got Daniel Orton. He's playing with us this year.
Okay.
Yeah, he played at Kentucky. He was in the NBA.
Kentucky Daniel Orton. Wow,
yeah,
that's a big.
Yeah,
he played for the Magic for like a hot minute in the league too, right?
Yeah, he played for about 3 or 4 years. He still plays overseas, and we got LJ Cowherd, who got the best assist-to-turnover ratio in TBT history. We got Mr. Body Double himself, Zach Andrews. He's coming back, to play with us. He's actually at the Emmys right now. He's trying to get on, so. Because he's in that Lakers Showtime show that's on HBO.
Sure.
Yeah. So he was an actor in that show.
Only body double I'm ever going to accuse with is probably somebody who you don't want to see naked. So frankly, if he's getting to be a LeBron body double, he's got something figured out. Now,
right.
Since we're talking about Ott, who would be your body double in the Heard That documentary?
Chael Sonnen, maybe.
Who?
The dude from Magic Mike, what's his name?
Channing Tatum.
Or Channing Tatum, yeah. Channing Tatum.
America's Best Contacts gives 2 pairs of glasses for $69.95. Suggest you call them tomorrow.
It's all right. Them and the YMCA can sponsor me.
There you go. You got it all locked out.
So, Willie, obviously looking at Peoria, the great draw for Peoria is you guys stepped up. You guys were always ready to play. We currently have you in the bubble, but because of your reliability and always being there, we think that's a very soft bubble pick. We see you guys obviously sneaking in the field somehow because you guys are always in this go. It's going to play hard. So let's go ahead and use this couple minutes while you're here. How important is it that you guys get into TBT? Like, what do you bring to the table that makes you a must selection for the field?
I think just how hard we play. We're just a bunch of blue-collar guys who play the game right. We got a nice fan base, and people reach out to me even after the TBT to even play with me or coaches and things like that. So I think people who match up against us, they have a lot of respect for us, and we're just going to come and play hard and play the game the right way. And I think we're a fun team to watch, and we're always about doing things for the community. We do free kids camps. We involve the community. We involve other people. So for us, it's not just about basketball. It's about giving people hope and inspiration and just, showing love of the game of basketball and showing love to people as well.
So we're always asking the question, too, and I'll let Charles talk. I'm kind of monopolizing the conversation, but the teams that are sort of on the bubble, obviously there's some rumors about there being a region at Rucker Park. Would Peoria be willing to go to Rucker?
I mean, if we had to, we will. That's not a place I would want to play, especially with the guys that play overseas on the concrete. But I think it'll be fun. All the great NBA greats that played there, and it'll bring an element because that sun. If you guys ever played outside in the sun, it's no joke, man.
Yeah, especially here. It's hot as hell here. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's humid in New York City, and it's the wind affects the shot. So if you really if that wind is blowing, it's going to be pretty tough to shoot jump shots. So if you just got a jump shooting team, you probably won't do well in that.
What was that scene in White Man Jump when when Wesley Snipes is like, we might go a little bit to the left or a little bit to the when he does that when they're shooting.
Right.
I love that
Right.
scene.
Right.
And like it's like, oh, Billy Hoyle looks so embarrassed.
Yeah, I think Mike from D3, he said his team's too good of shooters to be playing outdoors like that. So he's not looking at Rutgers either. But maybe that wind would help my shot. I'll try to chuck a few up there to help out. But Willie, are you kind of locked into where you guys want to go? Obviously, TBT will steer a lot of this. But where are you guys aiming at? We just guessed Omaha just because a lot of Illinois people from last year, we dropped in Omaha. But is there somewhere that you guys are eyeing up and want to play?
Well, we were looking at Dayton. We really want to go to Dayton. It's not that far from Peoria, so I'm excited about Dayton. I'm praying we'll get in. So I think that's a place that we want to go. That's where everybody wants to go. We do the training camp and then head to wherever they tell us. But I really want to go to Dayton.
Yeah, the way it looks is we just need to get all the regions around West Virginia and Ohio and just have all 8 regions there because everybody wants to go there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, anyway,
I'll go anywhere. I'll go to Alaska. I go to Mars and play. I just love the game. I don't care where we play at. I just want to play.
Man said Mars a little bit. So, you're a social media sensation. Part of the love the herd gets is because, frankly, you're one of the more engaging personalities in TBT. Any advice for Willie on how to keep the Peoria brand kicking? So we know you have a good brand. How do we get the Peoria brand one level up? How do we do this?
Well, I don't know. I think adding Daniel Orton and a big name like that helps. Also, man, we got to get LJ in front of a microphone. I had one of a pretty good little trash talking back and forth with him in the bubble. He'd be a personality that a lot of people would like.
Yeah, LJ has a huge personality. Actually, he has a huge following in Kentucky. He's like a legend throughout the entire state. I mean, he does a lot with kids in basketball camps, so he's like the Elvis of Kentucky, just the black Elvis.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's we can all use a black Elvis. That makes a lot more sense than the one we have. As a Memphis guy, especially, we could use a sort of a recasting of that role in some respects. So definitely. So anyway, Willie, looking at all this, obviously we put you in the bubble. It's no slight. The field's just crowded. Have you an idea of how safe do you feel? We put you in the bubble, but you feel you still have a pretty good chance of squeezing in here, right?
Oh yeah. I'm not really too worried about it. We got some things we're doing behind the scenes. We're going to add some more marquee players and big name players. We also have some big name sponsors that you guys will know that's going to be behind us. So we have some things up our sleeves, some secret weapons. So like I said, we got Daniel Orton and we got some other players too, some big name players that you guys would know too. So I'm just not mentioning all of them. I got a little, surprise. I was in Marines, so, element of surprise is what we do.
You were a Marine?
Yeah, I was infantry.
Oh, that's okay. You ever do Camp Lejeune?
My wife did. She was in the Marines too. She was a drill instructor.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was sometimes she still is at home, but I was
Yeah.
I was in Camp Pendleton.
She's not listening right now. You're in trouble.
No. She's at the gym working out. So.
Oh, you got to stay in shape. Got to stay in shape. That makes sense to me.
I'm trying to get sexy like her, I'm trying to get sexy like Ott, Ott the supermodel, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
You want to stand up and show? You want to show us the abs?
No, I'm gonna save that for first week. It was bulking season over the winter. Now we're just now starting to cut down for getting fighting weight.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I love it.
All right. Well, hey, good stuff, Willie. We appreciate you jumping on. We're gonna jump on to our next guest here momentarily. So appreciate everything. Good luck.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll get you
Willie,
back
thanks
on
for coming
you have
on,
more
man.
announcements.
No problem. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Willie.
Good luck.
Man, you don't have the abs right now?
No, not currently. They're hiding, but
currently. So when did you have them?
I had them my whole life. I was always, I went into college at 6'2", 160 pounds. So It wasn't until my senior year I started drinking a little bit of beer, and things went a little sideways on me.
That's all right. Living life.
Hey, their point guard is one of my favorite people. He came up to me while we were getting ready for the tip, and he told me, the little LJ dude, he said, "Man, I Googled you and your brother came up." And, of course, that sort of made me mad. So I looked and I said, "I Googled you and nobody came up." So he's full of personality. He's a great little guy. He played at Georgetown College, I believe. And So, they got some players on that team.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I think they got a good core. They should be a lot to get in. It's just a matter of getting the right region for them, and they'll travel. All right. Well, do we have anyone in hold, or
we do?
All right.
We do. And I was trying to figure out something on the interwebs, my computer's being what it usually does. Let's just go ahead and power through it. So, obviously, you guys have a D1 squad. I mean, Marshall is a almost power conference squad, a really nice squad. But Charge and I both went to Division III schools, which we always have a soft spot in our heart for the Division III schools, which is why it's a real pleasure to have on star player from We Are D3, Eric Demers. Hey, Eric, what is going on tonight?
How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So first of all, obviously, this is a big get for We Are D3, having an NBA caliber talent. So first of all, can you talk a little bit about what you bring to the table as We Are D3 looks for its first win this year?
Yeah, I just think different experiences, especially playing at the Division III level, and then going towards the NBA level of the G League and Summer League, just the different roles I've played and ways I've learned how to impact winning. In Division III, it's averaging a lot more points than somewhere like Summer League or the G League. So just kind of bringing my knowledge and experiences from playing with high-level NBA talent into the gym and training camp, and kind of getting prepared for TBT this summer.
Yeah, so you've had a great year in the G League. I can't remember. I think were you a Sportsmanship Award nominee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so congratulations on that first and foremost. But obviously, first pro season. So how do you think your game's going to be different this summer after that kind of full season in the G League and kind of getting that run and some of the NBA experience that you talked about?
No, absolutely. Just adjusting to playing against bigger, more athletic type guards, particularly since I am a guard, but just adjusting to the speed of the game, the way the game's played. A lot of Division III basketball is a lot of high IQ type run certain sets and things like that. And when you get to the professional level, it's a lot more skill and letting guys truly kind of show off what they can do. So just try to be myself and fit that role of being a leader and a scorer for We Are D3 this summer.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because We Are D3 always comes with an absolute ton of like really interesting sets and a lot of really good, because I know Coach Reg really has you guys really well prepared. And I think having a cohesive team identity gives you guys a lot of help, a lot of big advantage starting off, because you're constantly coming from that. So how does having a cohesive team where able to sort of play up the same sort of sets help you against some teams that may have a slight size advantage, we'll say, for example?
Yeah, hopefully we answered some questions with the size advantages that hurt us a little bit last year coming into this summer. But just the fact that we went out to Kansas a week early last year and just started to build relationships, whether it be on Zoom meetings or in the gym for 7 to 10 days before TBT. So just trying to build that relationship and that cohesion as a team, and then compared to some other teams that kind of just show up a day or two before TBT starts. So just trying to take advantage of the time we do have together. I really think it plays a benefit for us.
I think it's interesting too, because obviously these bracketologies are very much sort of subjective and they're early, but GNC Charge and I put you as a 5 seed. You went off last year against ALS. Like, you single-handedly really kept them in that game. We Are D3 is now, I believe, 0-2 or 0 for 3. At the same time, though, they're just on the cusp of a breakdown. They're 3-0, breakthrough, not breakdown. They're 3-0 at halftime, basically. So, like, what is it going to take to get that first win?
Yeah, I think it just comes with experience. We're bringing back a lot of guys from last year with a few new additions, but TBT offers a game that not a lot of guys are used to playing, especially with Elam ending and things like that. So that was a first for me to experience and kind of endure. But also just hopefully a better seeding this year will help us kind of push over that hump. We've kind of, I understand, like, being D3 guys, like, it's a little Cinderella story. You throw us towards the bottom 16 seed or whatnot. But hopefully we've shown good fights in the past few years where we've kind of played ourselves into a little bit better of a seeding.
Yeah, both Hanger and I are guaranteeing the D3 win in the first round this year, because I agree the seeding's been tough when you get Syracuse, ALS, and I can't remember who the other matchup was off the top of my head, but absolutely pulling for D3 this year.
No, we appreciate it.
So what exactly, though, because I know some people who do this event have different motivations. in your case, we are D3. Like, what is the allure of playing for Division III All-Star team? Is it to help raise brand about the fact Division III athletes are legit? Is it sort of a job fair to get better European deals, or to help, in your case, an NBA deal? Like, is it exposure? Is it a branding? Is it respect? Is it all three?
I think it's a mixture of all three, depending on who you ask. I'm a proud Division III alum, so I'm always proud to represent the Division III community wherever I go. I don't mind carrying that Division III tag, whether it be in the NBA or the G League or whatnot. But for me, it's just an opportunity to showcase my talents in front of a large crowd. I knew last year that a lot of people were going to be watching. It's a time of year where there weren't a lot of sports on ESPN and such, so I knew a lot of people were going to be watching our game. And it came off a year of COVID where I had to take a year break between college and my professional career. So just try to take advantage of my opportunity. And fortunately enough for me, it opened a lot of doors for Summer League and to be in the G League this year.
Any advice for him on how to get more exposure as he continues to develop his brand? Eric's doing obviously a great job doing with the league, but again, you're a social media maven. So any advice to Eric on how to continue to make his brand legit personally?
You know, I think he did it a little bit better than me. He did it by just going out there and getting buckets, and he showed himself. He showed his game, and he let his game do the talking. And you saw what happened. Like he said, it opened a lot of doors for him. I was rooting for the guys and hoping they were going to get ALS, and he did everything he could do to do that. But like y'all said, I think they can get their first win this year.
I appreciate it.
Very, very cool. Well, Eric, it's a real pleasure having you on. Really, did everybody see the one thing about We Are D3, that tweet where Coach Regis talked about the fact all these players wanted to play for him? I should bring that up. Do you guys see that?
He was real serious for a while. He almost made it through the whole thing.
It was fantastic. I hope that – so, Eric, next year when Marcus Keene and Mike Dahm beg to get on D3 team, but they're not Division III players, will you make an exception, or you just don't want to deal with that?
I don't know. It kind of takes away our whole kind of just chip on our shoulder we carry with. I think it's kind of unique that just because we could bring other outsiders in, but just the fact that we're 100% D3 guys, the coaching staff and players included, it's just kind of how we roll. So I don't know if that would happen, but I like the squad we have going in this year.
Well, when they turned them down with D3, send them straight to Herd that. We'll gladly take those guys.
I'll grab whatever's out there.
Odd is using this show to recruit. I love it. By the way, we have an answer. Will D3 get the first win this year? Coach Reg, the answer is yes. Your coach is putting some pressure on Eric, so there you go. He wants to make you guys the hunted, not the hunter.
That's totally fine with me.
On that note, Eric, a great career. I know we expect big things. Hope to see you in the NBA next year, and if not, at least high-level European. Either way, we expect great things from you. Looking forward to seeing you this summer. Thanks for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, fellas. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Eric, take care of yourself. Very, very cool. Eric Demers coming on. Love that. That was really cool.
I love the whole D3, D2 thing. Both coaches have kind of really towed that line to protect the brand, the image, to, like I said, looking for respect, hard-nosed guys in both D2 and D3. So it's been pretty cool to see what both those teams develop through tournament over the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really, really solid what they've been able to do. So we have a slight lull between guests. We don't spend our next guest for a couple minutes. Good time to take a breather. So let's everybody relax for a second, because we have our next guest coming on in about 7 minutes. We have the nerd team coming on, which will be very exciting, because I'm a nerd and Charge pretends to be one. So now, speaking of which, you're going to be a lawyer soon. So, like, first of all, I want to talk about law school, because I'm going to need a lawyer at some point as an architect. I will be sued at some point. That's the nature of the profession. What kind of law do you want to practice?
I'm still trying to figure it out. Probably some like property, real estate, that area of law. But I might have to put a flyer with the nerd team. Maybe they let me on as a booster or something next year. Once I have my law degree, I might be considered smart enough to join their ranks.
Yeah, not Ivy League, but close enough.
Right. I got more degrees than a thermometer, fellas, so maybe they'll make an exception for me.
Maybe they'll make an exception for you. That only makes sense. So we've been talking, and we're going to bring some things on. But first of all, real quick, what was the biggest story today? Like, we have a slight lull between guests. What was the biggest story today? Like, who you think was either the biggest signing or the biggest story? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's the big hit? Let's start with Charge. Charge has some time to think about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest story is the absence of any Mike Dahm news. He was the TBT poster child for signing day, front and center of all the tweets, all the communications, and we have not heard a lick on Mike Daum today. That to me is
officially we haven't heard a word.
The biggest non-story. Yes, officially we haven't heard a word. So that to me, that's still just shocking that we have not heard a word, and looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. So
we all thought Mike Daum had a lean, and now it seems like because they pimped out that he's going to be announced. Like that was their cover boy, and it didn't happen. So there's a few teams that probably have a chance for him. Would Mike Daum be welcome on Heard That? Let's just get out of that way first of all.
Oh, for sure. Mike Daum would definitely be welcome on Heard That. We made a little pitch for him last year at the 3-point contest for TBT. He was there. We talked to him a little bit this year, but I think we had heard sort of the same thing everybody else had been hearing, that he was leaning towards a specific team. And when I thought it was a done deal, so we might have to pick up the phone and make a call now that Mike Daum's door there might be a crack in it.
Right. And you heard it from Ott himself. I didn't hear Ott was recruiting on the court until recently in the 3-point contest, but people were legit recruiting on the court last year during live games, trying to recruit people for TBT 2022. So that just tells you have to be ready to go for TBT 2022.
That's what Mike Iliano was doing in West Virginia. He said so many complimentary things to the fans in West Virginia last year. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
He's trying to recruit.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't sign to come back to West Virginia. Man, we would definitely like another shot at those guys. I mean, it's easy to talk about, but we were up 1 point. We needed one more point. There was 1 second on the shot clock, and the ball's loose when we're on defense. And the only way they get a shot off is if they call jump ball so they can get a new set. And then I believe it was Craig Sword hit a crazy fadeaway 3 off the out-of-bounds set to end it. And, we knew right then we knew the night before when we watched them play the Georgia Kings that team is really, really good. And so we knew the winner, or we thought the winner of that game was going to go on to, at least make Dayton. And they didn't really have any trouble until the championship, and they had a shot or two to win that. So that's a really good team, but boy, we really like a shot at Mike and those guys again.
Absolutely. It's interesting, too. We put up in the chat also, where do you think Mike Daum is going? We have some ideas. We have a little bit of information. But where do you think Mike Daum is going? So if you're listening, you want to share in the chat, make your pitch in the chat. Hey, who can play for us? That sort of stuff. We'd be curious to see what people are thinking. So that could be pretty interesting. But so anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and obviously I'm talking about Team 23. Just a reminder, Team 23 and Heartfire merged this year, so that's a combined team. They made a minor announcements today. Obviously, some of their big guys, Chef and Putney, and can't remember the other guy they mentioned, transitioning over to Heartfire. But they also picked up Justin Toyu. Hopefully, I pronounced his name
transfer right. From the Buccaneers.
Picked up for the Buccaneers. So just kind of based on that, I think you got to see Justin play a little bit last year in West Virginia. So nice pickup for Heartfire.
Great pickup. It's almost like they almost have an abundance of riches at the 4 and 5 position. I know when they played us, they were probably 3 or 4 deep with legitimate big men. And then I saw them in Dayton, and they picked up the Kaiser kid. I think he's from Louisiana Tech, maybe. I don't know where he went to college, but another stud. And now they're switching over to Heartfire. Now they're stealing him from Eastern Tennessee. When it comes to front lines, there's not going to be any team with a better front line than what Heartfire is now going to have.
Yeah, they'll be solid. And who knows? Obviously, we haven't got to peek at all the rosters, but maybe that means not all of their bigs from last year will come back and to TBT 2022. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that and see who's in and who's out come final roster time.
Yeah.
We'll make a couple phone calls to whoever they leave out.
Exactly. So we got Daum. We don't know where he's going. That was the big move. We'll talk a little bit about Scoochie going to Red Scare later. So that's a really big story. Because they've been trying to get him for years. So we'll delve into that with our second and next segment. But A big thing too is like what's happening with how teams are constructed. We've had mergers, we've had rumored mergers. So the teams break now into a few classes of teams. We've got teams that are straight alumni teams. Ott is the GM and front man for Herd That, a relatively straight GM, a really straight alumni team. You've got the cause teams, your sideline cancers, your team Heartfires. You have your mixed alumni teams, which is a new brand. We are D3 as a mixed alumni team, like from different schools. And one of my favorite new brands, and either my first or second favorite logo, Charge last year. Two best new logos last year.
Fort Worth Funk, I know you're going to say.
That's one of them with the hat, the pimp hat. Absolutely. And?
Oh, I can't remember who you said on the other one.
It was explosive. It was explosive.
Oh, Nerd Team.
And you know what's great about the Nerd Team? They're here. Hey, what's up, Matt?
What's up, fellas? How you doing? Happy to be here.
We have the Nerd Team in the house. So Matt is always a good guy to come onto the show with, always a fun guy. And I'm looking at I think I'm going to move you over to where Ott's sitting on this because there we go. Because now you can see the logo. And we're actually covering Ott's face. We're going to cover my face, actually, because no one cares about it.
Yeah, just switch me and Ott. He's the
there we go. Now you can still see my face. I'm producing this. So now I can sit a little higher. We got to see that sweet logo. So first of all, Matt, before we're waiting for one more guest, obviously. But while we wait for your player, talk a little bit about that logo because that logo is pretty dope.
Yeah, no, we were super excited about the logo. I think we had to come in last year with a splash, and so the combination of the nerd and the TNT stick, a little dynamite coming in hot. I thought it was a great logo. It had a lot of love on the commercials. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the commercials with all the logos, we were always in there. So I think it might help us get a couple sponsors this year. Who knows? We got to sell it.
Well,
Was the logo inspired by the Manhattan Project? Is that sort of like the thing? Like the nerds made the nuke, so now we're going to make a bomb? Or is it just like what? Why is it explosive? I'm confused.
So the Nerd Team, so TNT. There you go.
There we go. See, I should have thought that. I'm not smart enough to go to the Nerd Team. That's why I can't play or be attached. I applied to an Ivy League for grad school. I applied to Penn. What do you guys think happened?
Declined.
That's right.
They told me to go fuck myself. They were like, no. We accept real students here. So I was not able to go to the Nerd Team. Did anybody else apply to like a nerd school? I'm curious. Charge, did you apply to any Ivies or anything?
No. Division III, Fredonia State. That's it. That's where all the action's at.
Baby.
I got waitlisted at Harvard for what that's worth.
Yeah, so Matt, before you jump down, I don't know if you heard Ott talking, but he's going to be a lawyer here really, really soon. So even though he didn't go to a nerd school, Ivy League school, I mean, can he be an honorary booster after he retires from Herd That?
Yeah, we accept all lawyers. Obviously, they do well in the pocket. So booster status, perfect. Come on, anytime you want. We don't deny anyone. There are nerds everywhere. And you're welcome to join the party anytime you want.
Hey, once I hang it up, I know which team I'm throwing my money behind.
That's it, baby.
Good deal.
So let's talk a little bit about where you're going too, because now you guys are pretty tied, I believe, to Syracuse, correct? That's where you want to go.
Yeah, that's where we applied to. We're hoping to get in there if we can. So, most of our guys are East Coasters, so it'll be a little bit easier trip for us.
Okay. So we gave you guys a 6 seed as a dangerous 6. Obviously, again, these are preliminary sort of things. We're not exactly sure if that's where you're going to end up, obviously. But would a Friday Beers, and in case you're remembering, Friday Beers is the team that was Armored Athlete. They're a long-term thing. Would that be a pretty interesting matchup for you for the first round? So they usually bring a lot of sides to the table. Yeah,
so that'd be an interesting matchup for a few reasons. Obviously, they're a TBT, stalwart. They've been in the tournament for so many years, a lot of wins. But actually, 2 people involved with that squad are, for all intents and purposes, I would call them nerds. They're D3 coaches over at Gettysburg College, and 2 of my really good buddies. So that'd be actually a fun matchup for us. One of them is actually my former assistant at TCNJ. So We would love that. Obviously they're experienced, ready to go, but we're excited to get back in there. Whoever we face, I think we'll be ready to rumble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also,
and I know,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know you had your announcement today, and he may be jumping on, so we'll save him for a little bit. But who else have you announced so far besides the breaking news today?
Yeah. So today we just started with our 2 Yale guys, and Azar Swain and Brandon Sherrod. We got a few more guys in the hopper here that we'll be announcing over the next few days. A lot of our guys from last year want to come back, and I think the nerds throughout the world kind of saw our game, and so we've been getting a little more interest this year than last. I think we have a little bit more respect out there. So we're gonna have some good ones for you guys over the next few weeks for sure.
Oh, the question we have in the chat right now is, was Revenge of the Nerds a top 100 all-time movie? Brian Littman obviously thinks it is easily a top 100 movie, even in times. I mean, it's kind of tough because it's such a great movie, but some of the scenes don't hold up. Like when the pie and the non-consent scene, that does not hold up at all. Obviously, I read a story about that, but it is still a great top memory of mine. Are the glasses you have their prescription, obviously, but is that something that is inspired? Is the actual frame choice a certain thing?
So when I first got my job here down here at the College of New Jersey, when I became a head coach, I was pretty young, and I was finding the refs weren't giving me a lot of benefit of the doubt. And when I threw the glasses on, the whole thing changed. So I decided to start wearing them because it made me look, I don't know, a little bit more older, more respected. I don't know what to say about it, but the refs adjusted accordingly. They probably still hate me, but what can you do?
So Matt, real quick though, before you hold on, tell one second. Matt, who was your biggest signing today, though?
Our biggest?
Yeah.
Azar Swain, for sure.
Azar Swain! Hey, look at that guy right there.
How you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
How's it going, Azar? I hear you perfectly fine. I like the banner. I like a man who's hanging up a banner behind him on his video. That's pretty good.
I appreciate it. It's not strategic. That's just the only poster in my room.
Fair enough. So talk a little bit about why you decided to play for the nerd team this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was truthfully a no-brainer. I first heard about it. Well, I knew what the TBT was. I knew what the nerd team was, but I had got in contact with Matt through my high school AAU coach, high school coach who I'm very close with. I mean, it's really a no-brainer though. I'm playing with guys that I've either looked up to or I've played against in my career or played with in my Ivy League career. So it's sort of like a cool full circle moment, a moment for us to kind of give back in a sense and kind of be able to show and publicize our skills on a national stage.
Yeah, and I was really, really high on nerd team last year, and obviously had a little roster shuffle towards the end. Still put up a good fight, so I'm feeling really good about the nerd team. So obviously, the full roster hasn't been announced, but what you saw last year and the inside info this year, how do you guys feel you stack up against some of the other TBT teams?
Yeah, I feel like the group of guys that we're trying to put together, we can truthfully play with anybody in the country. I mean, it's a unique experience. We have a wide range of guys. I think we'll have an interesting team this year and a very competitive one. So I don't want to put too many expectations on us or any of the guys, but you can expect a competitive team for sure.
Now, Zara, where are you calling us from today? Where are you at this moment?
I'm on campus in New Haven, Connecticut at Yale.
Okay, New Haven, Connecticut. So you are a Yale grad. It's pretty funny. My neighbor who lives right out that window, who built an extension. So I have a house. I live in Brooklyn, and this guy built his extension literally blocking a window because it's a non-lot line window. You legally can do that. He's kind of a jackass. Where do you think he went to school?
Sure. I hope not Yale. I hope Harvard.
He's a Yale grad.
Okay.
I've never met an architect who went to Yale who wasn't kind of a douchebag. Now I'm sure people from Yale are fine, by the way, but and the chance of him watching this is 0%. So it doesn't. know who this is. But
Yeah.
yeah, this guy built literally his house, and you can see right there, there's a house blocking my window, which you can legally do because of where the window is. And he's like, well, you actually are blocking my house. And I'm just like, okay, whatever.
New
Like,
York
this is
South,
ridiculous.
man. Me and I don't got to worry
New York
about that
City.
stuff in the country. You see for miles.
So we're asking the poll real quick. Are the Nerds game good for a game this year? So first of all, Matt, you've really brought some talent to bear. Are you guys good for a game this year, you think?
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. I think, the big thing we needed to adjust from last year and the lessons we learned, we just needed to add some depth. We had some late scratches last year coming into the tournament. And so we're working on that now. I think Azar was a big signing for us. And, even today, just that announcement, we got some interest from some guys that could help us for sure as we move forward. I love it. So yeah, no, I think we are. I feel really confident about that. I think we were right there last year and just kind of ran out of gas late against Buffalo, who obviously ended up having an incredible run in the tournament last year. But we were right there with them for 4 quarters, right through it. So I feel good about it.
And Azar, what do you bring to the table at this? Like, how are you going to really just make this happen? Like, obviously you were a leading scorer, you were a runner-up or you were a finalist for Mid-Major Player of the Year. Like, what do people need to understand about Ivy League players? Like, obviously everybody knows Linsanity. Like, it goes beyond that, though, right?
Definitely. The talent level across the league has increased over the past, pretty much over the past 10 years, or more than that, 15 or so. An incredible amount where, you had Harvard go on that run of 5 or 6 championships. And, we've won 3 out of 4 of the past couple ones. So, I mean, we've had guys go on to, in the Ivy League, go to play at Michigan, go to play at Notre Dame, go to play at Alabama, in the NBA. So there's no limit to guys in the Ivy League or anything like that. As far as me specifically, I've been in every role there is on a team through my life. So I've learned to contribute and lead in all types of ways. And in that, I've found myself and found my, niche sort of. And I feel like in any role, whoever we have finalized on the roster, we'll be okay.
Fantastic. So,
yeah.
Any closing thoughts then, Matt? So we'll let you close us out, and we'll keep the show moving.
Okay.
No, we're super excited. Anybody out there, again, we don't discriminate. If you love Game of Thrones, if you love the Avengers, if you're a math guy, if you're going to be a lawyer soon, looking at you. Listen, we love all the nerds. Come support us. We got a great logo. We can pick up some gear. Let's go, nerds, baby.
Now, how nerdy are you guys going to be recruiting? Like cosplay people and LARPers and kind of all that kind of stuff? Or where do you draw the line? Where does the nerdum kind of line draw?
There is no limit to nerds. We are limitless. We don't draw a line. We accept all people. We're very welcoming over here. So if you got a nerdy, you like some nerdy stuff, come on in. Let's go.
Love it. Well, Azar, Matt, appreciate you guys taking some time out tonight. Congratulations on the big signing day today. Sounds like a great squad turning up, and we'll have you on again once we get down the road.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
fellas.
you guys for having me.
Take care.
Guys. See you next time. That's funny.
The nerds.
Great.
How we do it. Is Joey there yet, or do I have a couple time to throw a couple bits out there?
We can make Joey wait. He's here. We'll make him wait for a minute.
Yeah, let me hit one because I got 2 I want to talk about. LA Cheaters, okay. Big signing, James Ennis, NBA player. This is the time that I want to remind people that everybody who is signed is not going to show up and play. They are not going to be there.
Shout out to Team Washington, Team Misfits.
Team Washington, probably the biggest one of them. And then the Cheaters last year was getting all the hype last year with Casper Ware and Derek Williams. Did either of them play in the TBT last year? No. So as exciting as some of these announcements are going to be, temper your excitement because a lot of them aren't going to show up. But obviously, if James Ennis shows up and Casper Ware shows up and Derek Williams shows up and, they got a lot of good guys down there in L.A. in the Drew League, there could be a dominating force. But I'm going to temper my excitement about this one just based on history and what typically happens this time of year. So I know you probably know that from recruiting and GMing and just following players. Some smoke screens and different things going on this time of year.
Yeah, you can't. You just take these signs with a grain of salt. There's some organizations, that when they say they got a guy and they say they're going to be there, you can trust it a little bit. We're sort of one of those. There's some groups out there that shoot straight, but some of these huge names, they're just that. They're huge names, and they're not there for the games. So. That's something TBT has to worry about when selecting the teams is, if we put this team in, are they going to show up with who they say they're going to show up with? And, I'm glad I don't have that headache.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there. Yeah, at least we haven't had any teams claim to have a player and then get called out by that said player this year yet. So we had that happen last year where players were being announced and the player didn't even know. So so far so good. So shout out to all the GMs for not going down that path. But all right, Hainer, we got Joey in the hopper.
Well, yeah, we do have Joey in the hopper. So first of all, the biggest news of the signing period is, and Charge, you can talk about why this is, but Scoot, you're going to talk about why this is big news, but we're also going to talk to the GM that was able to recruit him. And we have on the show, Joey Gruden, the head honcho and GM of host team and perennial powerhouse Red Scare. Joey, what's up, man?
How you doing? Good to see you guys again. It's about that time.
Always a
big
pleasure.
smile on your face today.
Yeah, I'm laughing at his hat again. Yeah, good to be here.
Well, good.
Obviously, I mean, you guys were going to be one of the contenders, and you guys spoke on the phone briefly today. But like I said, that this move could potentially put you from a top-tier contender to true favorite level, like obviously a favorite. And you said, I hope you know, I must be out of turn about we talked a little bit about pressure. Does having a player of this quality add pressure to the team?
I mean, definitely, yeah. I just feel being at home and adding a guy like that, I mean, definitely the expectations are going to be higher. But, I think pressure is always a good thing. You want pressure. You don't want to be, a team at the bottom who has no expectations or anything like that. So I think the pressure is good.
Yeah, and this one here, I think, when me and Hainer were talking earlier, I think this is absolutely the signing of the day. So bar none, anyone else signed today.
Besides Ott,
actually, he's our analyst today. Besides Ott, is Scoochie. And really, to me, it's for two reasons. Obviously, losing Devin Oliver. He's getting married this summer. So I saw that on Twitter that he's not playing this year. So when you guys lose a guy like Devin, the backfill with a guy like Scoochie was just huge. But I think more importantly, the Dayton fan base really needed this. They come out and support the team no matter what, but they've been clamoring, and I've been clamoring to see Scoochie for 4 years now. To get Scoochie finally back home in Dayton, back in front of those fans, is just going to make that place absolutely crazy. One of the most beloved Dayton players of all time. Obviously, big-time playmaker, knocked out shots. Going to be amazing for Red Scare. So I think it's twofold. Everyone's going to look at his talent, but the impact he's going to have on the fan base and playing at home is equally as important as what he can do on the court this year.
Definitely, yeah. I think you hit on the head. He's not a guy who's going to come in and average 30 points. He just brings good aura and energy to our team, and all the stuff he can do on the court is awesome. But I think just his presence in the community and bringing the fans in and getting the guys to play together is a lot more impactful than him scoring. So,
and we put in the chat real quick, and this is a question I'll ask you, Joey. I'll ask also the people watching: is Dayton the best college basketball city in America? We know that they treasure the first four. The first four has become a cultural touchstone in college basketball, and Dayton every year shows up. They support the Flyers every year. I don't mean best college basketball town. I'm not talking about college towns. I'm talking about city, because Dayton's a city. Is it the best college basketball city in America? What's your opinion? I know you're obviously what do you call it? Not a uninterested party there.
Yeah, I mean, the Dayton fan base is definitely nuts. I mean, we sell out every game, whether it's an exhibition, first to Division II or Division III, to like you said, the first four is always packed. I think just Dayton doesn't have a whole lot of sporting teams involved besides the Dragons, so Dayton basketball is kind of all we got. So whenever there's an event at that arena, which is also a beautiful arena in itself. It's brand new, and I think the TBT is so lucky to be there and all that good stuff. It's honestly a beautiful gym when you walk in. So just like I said, no other sports teams. I think everyone flocks to anything that happens at that arena.
Yeah, the Dragons actually caught a Dragons game during championship week. I got to my hotel and like, hey, there's a baseball stadium and there's a game today. And I look it up and they're playing against the Lake County Captains, the Cleveland affiliate. So, yeah, nice little stadium there. I had no idea the Dragons were there, but good time, good stadium.
For sure.
Yeah, actually, I'm bringing up the slide now, and actually, I didn't have the order properly. So what's interesting about this is we did the bracketology, and I'm stuck on this. This is bad producing. I apologize. So we're stuck on this. We did this prior to the news, and we had you guys as the 2. Charge, we talked about this. Does Scoochie change the Eagles and Red Scare seating?
I don't think right now. I think we have to wait and see if Golden Eagles land here. The more we kind of hear and talk to folks, we think this may shift around a little bit. Not sure Golden Eagles are going to end up here. If they don't end up here, then I think Red Scare is obviously going to move up to a 1 or 2. The wild card, as we talked about without last week, he wasn't on the show, but he was in the chat, is we don't know what Carmen's crew is going to bring to the table this year. Just about everybody on their team's retired. Obviously, they got access to really good talent, but who's going to be able to play, who's going to kind of run the show and show up. So I think that's the wild card. So I think right now, without more information, I think that 2 is a pretty solid spot for Red Scare.
Yeah. So Joey, one thing I want to ask you, and we can also loop Otto on this, is there's a huge advantage inherent in the Dayton Regionals that you're also hosting the finals. So you guys could, if you're good enough, and you will have a chance to do this because your team will be that good, you can win 6 straight on your own home floor. Is that something that you relish as an opportunity?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely helped with recruiting and getting guys to come play. We don't have to move. I mean, we're going to stay on campus. The university is helping us with that. So from just a cool GM standpoint, it's a dream come true. I don't have to do a whole lot, as I would traveling around a bunch of places. The familiarity playing UD Arena, practicing right there at our UD Rec Center. Just it's going to be so convenient, and I think it's going to make everyone a lot eager to play, and it's going to be a lot smoother. As Ott knows, it's kind of a pain getting everyone to fly in from everywhere to different places, so we can just fly in one time and we're done for the whole tournament.
Yeah, and I want to loop Ott in because this is a good way to also get our analysts involved. There is one disadvantage, and one GM actually mentioned Dayton had a slight disadvantage in the sense that the games start for Dayton. Round 1 starts on July 24th. The TBT final is August 2nd. You've got to win 6 games in 8 days. So that is going to require some depth and some legs. So do you think that's something you're going to have to in early rounds start to manage a little bit of your minutes? Is that something that will be a consideration?
Probably not. I think we got to win each game because each game's worth, $1 million essentially. It's definitely disadvantaged with the legs, but we are a younger team this year. If you guys haven't noticed that yet, we got a lot of younger guys for the most part. And I don't know, it's easier to recruit guys to say, hey, you got to come play 8 days instead of, some teams who play maybe the first game and then they got to wait around for a long period of time. And it kind of messes up their whole summer schedule. So just having a straight shot 8 days, it's a lot easier to convince some of these guys overseas trying to do some stuff in the summer. So it's definitely that aspect.
Would you want to play 8 games or 6 games in 8 days?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you'd like to do that if you could win because, like he mentioned earlier, logistically, keeping guys together, taking them somewhere else, moving around, there's always a chance you lose somebody. So if you could just be in one spot for 8 days and just if you could run them off, that would be ideal. You mentioned depth. Any chance you suit up and play for them? We've played together in 3-on-3 before, and you can play a little bit. Any chance you come out and add a little depth?
I don't know. I might dress on the sideline just in case. I don't know. A couple at the end of the game for up.
Yeah, do it. Suit up and go. But yeah, it's interesting the logistics part, how valuable. I totally agree. I'd rather play 6 games in 8 days and just kind of bang them all out. But the logistics is going to be a little more challenging this year to TBT because Last year, the hotel rooms were covered. This year, they are not, and we're kind of in a different world from an expense standpoint. So running a TBT team is getting more and more expensive each and every year, and the cost of hotels are like crazy right now. Cost of flights are crazy right now. So having that advantage of being able to stay put and kind of put these guys up is going to go a long way.
Yeah, definitely. So, Joey, you mentioned you're back on campus. Are they putting you in the dorms?
They're like little apartments essentially right there. So it's definitely convenient. I'm happy the university's working with us. It's made my life a lot easier.
Are they going to give you meal cards, like the old school meal cards we can get?
Oh, that'd be nice.
No, they didn't do that. I should ask them about it.
That you definitely should. If you're listening, if the people are Dayton listening, not only they don't only need room, they need board as well. And these athletes eat. We know that for a fact.
They won't have any problem with that Dayton fan base. If Joey tweets out, "Hey, we need Chick-fil-A run," someone's going to run out and grab it. These guys aren't going to have to worry. They got crazy fans that are. I mean, they travel all over the world to watch these guys play. So I think they're going to do all right.
Yeah, shout out to Professionally Loud, probably the most active Twitter account I've ever seen. Joey, though, the fact that you guys are going to be at home, this event's been held there before. You guys are a great college basketball town. Make your quick pitch two ways, both to your fan base to show up to ensure this continues happens, and also make your pitch to TBT about why this needs to be a yearly thing. Just go ahead, take the last minute to kind of make your pitch.
I think like you said, I think we've proven ourselves the past 3 years that we do have one of the best fan bases in TBT, whether we're playing in Columbus or even at the bubble, just people being around the bubble and supporting us there. I think we just travel so well. And now that we're in our own backyard, I don't see why we don't, compete with the record of attendance, especially if we win a couple games and get a marquee matchup with a rivalry team or another big alumni base. But yeah, with that first game, I expect a ton of people, especially to come watch our new signing, Scooch. I know people love him, obviously. We got V, who is another fan favorite, hit a game winner against Ohio State. Trey and Ryan, some more recent guys. And if we can keep adding a couple more guys who the Dayton fan base can connect with, I don't know. I don't see why we don't get, 5 digits, 10,000 people at least at the arena.
What's the max capacity there? How many can we put there?
I think it's like 13,700, right around there.
Can we back it? Can we sell the place out?
Can we sell it out?
I think if they get to the quarterfinals, I bet you that thing gets pretty close.
They put us on a Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is kind of weird, but we'll see. The Dayton fan base is definitely
coming in there. They'll sell out.
Oh yeah. Once her dad makes its run, that's crazy. But yeah, and I'm excited though. Between Landers and Scoochie Smith, I gotta give my charge shout outs, of course. So I've always been a big fan of Red Scare and what they do. But you guys are making the right moves and adding those charge guys over and over. See, I figured that out a while back and got Corey on his team. So if everyone will just heed that advice, things go a lot smoother for you.
Well, Joey, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate time. We'll get you back on closer to it. Obviously, the in-depth sort of UD Dayton coverage happens later. So you guys are a powerhouse team. So we'll talk to you later in the process because you have shit to take care of. We know how powerhouse you are. We can wait to get you in depth when it's serious during preview time, okay?
I appreciate it. Good seeing you guys again.
Take care, Joey.
Always a pleasure, Joey. It's Joey Green, GM of the Red Scare with the signing of the day. Peace out, Joey.
See you guys.
Okay, cool. Kick Joey off. Joey, wow. So that's a great signing. That's a really great squad to have. Yeah, kind of wild, actually. They're going to be a really, really, really
solid. And they're going to be a great team, and with that fan base behind them, holy cow, it's gonna be a show. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to Dayton. We're definitely going Cincy. I think we're going to try to make our way down to West Virginia after that.
Have some hope. Yeah, I'm definitely going to West Virginia if I can clear it with my my partner. She's got to buy.
And then obviously I'll definitely be seeing Ott versus Red Scare in the finals, which I don't know the bracket, so I don't know if that's going to go that way, but I'll hit the finals. So I'll get to see the later rounds, and I can't imagine if Red Scare still in it in Final 8, Final 4, that place is going to be a madhouse. There was a nice crowd last year for the Team 23, Bayheims. There's a lot of orange in there, so just being in the middle of Dayton, Ohio, they could still draw a good crowd, even for teams that aren't from Dayton.
So I want to draw this real quick. You really would want to play 6 games in 8 days? That's the one disadvantage I didn't think of. But one GM said you would.
Oh, well, I didn't answer. I mean, he's the professional athlete. I'm just couch.
I wouldn't say professional athlete, but yeah, I would definitely love to play 6 games in 8 days. I think that's a big advantage. You're not taking any breaks. You keep playing. Because logistically is a nightmare for a lot of teams. Especially if they're not covering hotels, they're not covering flights. Imagine trying to fly. You got to fly your team into, say, New Mexico State, and then you got to travel cross country to Dayton 2 weeks later. And then, I mean, that would be a nightmare. So I'd rather, you get in there, win one game, and just run them off. And, that seems like it'd be the easiest road.
That makes sense. We have a bit of a lull. We're expecting the enchantment on any minute, but I'd like to go ahead because we had one we pre-taped. So I'd like to go ahead. We had the Ohio 1804 gentleman come on. We'd like to talk about that charge. You want to kick that video off real quick?
Yeah, no, excited to, we had Kenny from Ohio 1804 on last night. So this was kind of anticipating the announcements he was going to make today. And so I'll just turn it over to you. Let's play that video and hear what Kenny had to say about Ohio.
So we got Kenny Brown here from Ohio 1804 talking about his signing day moves. First of all, Kenny, thanks for joining the show tonight. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me at this beautiful hotel in Indianapolis.
Beautiful. Indianapolis is actually a really understated city. So, hey, we're obviously trying to touch a lot of bases tonight. We got a lot of news to talk about and get into. So we're going to keep this really lean and mean, much like your team. So, Kenny, tell us who is coming on to Ohio 1804 this season.
Yes, sir. We've got a great signing day. Love the idea from TBT. We're going with 3 players, 3 guards, if you will. It's our guard signing day. We've got Stevie Taylor, an Ohio U legend, if you will, maybe the fan favorite of all time. Tommy Schmock, who just finished up playing at OU, and then Tevion Kirk, who played several years back.
Yeah, no, that's obviously a great start to the team. And this is your second year trying to get in. Well, you were into TBT last year, so trying to get into TBT 2022. So as you're constructing this year's roster, signing day, Eve, getting to learn a little bit about it, what is it about these 3 guys that you think can really help you contribute and win on the court this year?
Yeah, so our cornerstone is Antonio Campbell, MAC Player of the Year. And so we think we got a good front court start. So I wanted to bring in 3 guards, someone that could get him the ball, someone that can distribute and knock down some open shots on that, kick out from the post. So that was the main goal. Bring in some guards, and obviously with Tommy, someone who is in shape, just finishing up his college career.
Awesome, Kenny. And by the way, we had talked a little bit before we got into this about like sort of how rosters are going to be formed a little bit now in a not a post-COVID environment, but a less COVID environment. So is there going to be a little more freedom about who you can bring on and maybe a few less unexpected changes at the last minute? I know that kind of hurt you last year against Step 'em Up.
Yes, for sure. No, it's I feel like the world is my oyster now, because last year I had to see if these certain guys were vaccinated, and I had to get 70% that were vaccinated, and where they stood with that. And this year it's kind of, I've got my 10 targets. I'm going after them hard, and I'm going to sell them first.
Yeah, no, Antonio Campbell's tough. I just saw him in the G League when he came to visit camp. So, great piece to build around. So you mentioned you got these 3 folks, Campbell. So 10 targets. How many more you got to get signed and committed? How you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's the other thing with another year of experience, right? Before I was like, I'm building this team. I got to get my 10 guys right now. And then that's where it hurt me down the road. Now I'm kind of slow playing it. And I'm saying I'm getting my top 10 targets, some of the best players to ever put on the OU uniform. I'm waiting to get an answer from them before I move on. So there's hope. There's hope that a couple of these big names are coming our way too.
Very, very, very cool. Now we're talking a little bit about, obviously, you guys were a tough out last year, going to step them up, and hopefully you guys can improve in year 2. You're currently in the application pool, I believe, to go to Dayton. I believe that's where the current application pool is. But just as we're trying to figure out, obviously you're a credible team, but you are closer to the bubble than some teams. Would the Ohio 1804 be willing to pack their backs?
Yeah, I think that's what makes us a great candidate for TBT, because of our flexibility, right? We're reliable and we're flexible. We're open to Cincinnati right now. We're also open to Dayton, which is the one we're formally applying to, and then we're seeing maybe West Virginia is the best option. It's only an hour and a half from Athens, so something that we could be open to.
Charge and I did West Virginia. We loved it last year. It's a great atmosphere. That would be you'd be a natural fit there, I think, actually, too, if that ends up being where you guys play.
Yeah, mentally, I would had you guys pegged Dayton the whole time, but obviously Cincinnati, great fit location-wise as well. But, man, that's going to be brutal. But I love the idea of West Virginia after you mentioned that. I mean, that really is a nice shot down 77 into teams there, and there's going to be a lot of alumni flavor. I think you guys fit in really, really well there. So I'm going to say West Virginia. Let's switch it up a little bit, get you guys down there in West Virginia. But obviously, you kind of go where the flow goes. TBT, I'm sure, will steer some of that as well. But, good luck to you in whichever region you land in.
In closing thought, Kenny, I know we're tight on the schedule here, so we got a lot to do tonight, but so we'll give you the last word. What does the TBT selection committee and the community need to know about Ohio 18-4 that means you guys are a must put in the tournament? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that our people, and not only our players, but our fan base, are Bobcats through and through. They'll have any excuse to not only just party, but, root for their Bobcat nation. So I think we'll travel wherever we end up. If we're an hour and a half from Athens, if we're 3 hours from Athens, I think we'll get the fans there. And I think we got to show, these players are pros that have proven they can win in the NCAA tournament. So why not the TBT?
Very cool. From Kenny Brown's mouth to God's ears. Hopefully we see 1804 in the dance this year in TBT. Kenny, thanks for swinging by.
Appreciate you guys. Love what you do.
Good luck, guys.
So, yeah, we had Kenny on. That was really, really cool to have Kenny on. I mean, 1804 is pretty solid. And I think they have a chance to maybe do some damage.
What do you think? West Virginia, a good fit for those guys?
I don't know why they wouldn't apply to West Virginia. I don't know the mileage to, those other places, but Athens is literally only an hour and 15 minutes from West Virginia. I can't imagine those places being too much closer if they're closer at all. So, yeah, bring them down. One of our former players from the Wildcats played with them last year. The Taekwondo board, they have a great team. Ohio's a good school, and, they have a good history.
Yeah, and after we taped, we were talking about Kenny. It kind of reminded me of you guys as well. So they're already working on a party bus. And the first time I was with West Virginia Wildcats down in Columbus, I remember you guys had like a little mini party bus coming along. So apparently you laid the groundwork for that for the rest of TBT as well.
Yeah, we were fortunate that we had a hookup with a guy that had a party bus. And, we met in Charleston, piled everybody on, drove out to Columbus, and had a good old time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really cool. And what's also really cool is we don't get the honor of having a guy who's played over 600 NBA games very often on this podcast. But we're going to go ahead and enjoy this for a change. So we have Kenny Thomas, who everybody who follows basketball should know, New Mexico alum and the head coach of the Enchantment. Kenny, can you hear me? Hope you can hear me. I think he's still messing with his screen here. Kenny, can you hear me? I'm going to go if that's a no. We're going to wait for Kenny to figure out the sound. And once Kenny figures out the sound, we'll go ahead and loop him back in. So anyway, it's interesting because the New Mexico region could be really nice because you've got a lot of really solid teams that are looking at going there. We know Everline Drive's going there. And the Enchantment would be a really nice host to go out west. Charge, you think the event going out west again is a really nice thing?
I think it's a nice thing in New Mexico. Obviously, I think there's been some swing and misses at a few of the West Coast locations, but New Mexico into Pitt. Obviously, we talked about how great the environment's going to be in Dayton, but I think the environment in New Mexico is going to be equally as crazy. I think they're going to have a good team that's going to be fun to watch. So it's not just the location, but the team's going to be there to rise to the occasion. So, yeah, definitely a great decision by TBT, and I think they're going to do big things out there.
Cool. Kenny, can you hear us yet? Can you figure out sound? Still getting a blank response from him. Kenny, hopefully maybe he's in there. Kenny, can you hear us? I see on the screen he's messing with the sound.
We have some Wi-Fi. Yeah, and you mentioned Everline, so I know those guys are in the chat. They announced Nick Mayo and AJ Slaughter, and all signs point to them having a very, very similar core as last year. So in our bracketology, we did ranked those guys number one to start it out. I know they think we snubbed them last year, but finally we had to give them that number one seed. They come through, produce year after year. So if they're going to New Mexico, great. Going to Wichita, great. I think they still land as a one seed. Either way we look at it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Eberline, the Cheaters made some big moves, and as Chargers making a point, they may not be there. We're hoping Kenny can get the sound figured out. Do you hear us yet, Kenny? Okay, we're going to try one more time. Then I think we're going to have a bit of an issue making this work, which is a bummer. So it's nice to have. Yes, we can. There we go. Took a minute. There we go. Kenny, how you doing?
Oh, man.
Okay, can you turn your mic up? Now what's up? Okay, you can hear us now. So here we go. We're going to get there eventually, Kenny. We're going to get there together. Oh man, live broadcasting, always a fun thing. So anyway, while we wait for Kenny to figure out, you were first team GM one year, and Enchantment's the second year team. But like, as your team matured, and Kenny's dealing with this now as a coach, and you have a coaching role with your father, you obviously are a coach on the floor. How hard is it to have a fan base mature and keep moving forward? Like, how hard is it to develop your team where they continue to move forward as the years go on?
I think, the challenge is I think you have to keep putting out a good product. If you're a team that gets beat, I don't want to name any names, but there's a couple of alumni teams that come every year and get beat. And
you called them out on the last show. You might as well call them out again.
I don't want to deal with that fan base, but like if you're a team that gets beat every year, you can see fans start to lose interest. But we've been lucky where we've been successful. We represent the school well. Of course, we had pretty good teams while we were there. So it's not very hard to keep them interested. You just got to keep putting out a good product and try to keep them involved and make them feel a part of it.
Hang on, maybe Kenny, are we now here? You got us now?
Oh yeah.
There we go. It's a Christmas miracle. There we go. Hey Kenny, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing awesome. So real quick, our final guest for you is Kenny Thomas, a 600-game plus NBA veteran. So it's not something we don't get NBA royalty on the show very often. So that's very cool. So Kenny,
I appreciate that.
You're a New Mexico alum. How cool is it to be coaching for your school in this event for the first time?
It's actually my second year.
Oh crap!
No, it's all good. I was coaching last year. We had a nice little squad, but we came out good, and it's kind of exciting being able to come back and be a part of the whole alumni situation. And the guys that actually played for the school are actually here, and there's some guys that are actually not really from here, but at the same time, there's guys that have ties to the whole state and have played basketball in this area. But last year, it was kind of bad from the standpoint to where we started out good. We were up by like 23, and then halftime, I was telling the guys, I'm like, hey, thanks for the comeback, man. This is an opportunity for me to do the halftime show on ESPN, but we came out and blew it in the second half, right? So we'll see what happens. We're in our neck of the woods now, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, you're not losing that game if that was in the pit at home. So how excited are you to play in New Mexico in front of that home crowd?
Man, it's going to be good because we had a last year before we went to the tournament and played in that first game, we actually had the guys that were part of Enchantment with me coaching, and we had some other local guys that kind of played against us in an exhibition game. Just that exhibition game alone, I think we had about 5,000 to like 8,000 people, and it wasn't even a UNM game. And I don't even think UNM is getting that kind of draw right now. With the whole rebuilding stage, and it's really exciting to be a part of this situation.
Definitely. So we're really excited about this region because, like, New Mexico, and it's interesting because you mentioned rebuilding. New Mexico is a historic program. Like back when you were playing in it previously, the Lobo brand is extremely strong, and an event like this can help be part of the rebirth of it. Talk about the magic of playing the Pit. The Pit is a historic venue. It might be, for my money, it's the most historic venue in this current TBT, I think. So how much do you expect the crowd to carry you in this event?
There's going to be a lot of support because New Mexico is a basketball state. We bleed basketball. Football's been right there, but it's been a basketball state for as long as I've been here. I actually came here in '95 and actually played 1 year of high school in one state, and then I could have went anywhere in the country basically. And I decided to stay in New Mexico, man. For a high school game, I had 18,000 people in the pit for a high school championship game, and I'm like, man, I got to stay right here. But I think this community is ready for this, and the fact that I think it's going to be a huge draw with all the people that come out that want to actually see us play. And we got a good seed. We're number 2, so looking forward to it, man. We got a lot of pieces from the standpoint that we've added. We got a lot of guys that can shoot, and what people don't realize, playing in this altitude is a little difficult. So they'll figure that out real quick too, as well.
Yeah, the name Pitt's a bit of a misnomer because, honestly, you guys are at altitude. That makes a lot of sense. Now, you look at this draw, and Charge and I were kind of cooked this up. Obviously, the seed lines are pretty flat, so you guys would be in the running for a 1 seed. If the Cheaters bring their guys, they'd be a 1 seed. And we don't know where everybody's going, but, how sweet would a first-round matchup against the Aggies be as sort of an appetizer to get this moving?
Man, it's going to be unique because that rivalry is huge. It's always been there. It's like one of those things. It's like you don't want to lose to New Mexico State, which I don't really know of because I don't think I ever lost to New Mexico State in 4 years. So with that said, it's going to be nice. I think it's gonna draw more people, which is big because Las Cruces is only 4 hours away, and people are going to drive up to see the game. It's kind of a given.
Now, looking at the road, too, in Charge, where do you see the enchantment? Because the thing about the enchantment is this would be a pretty interesting road against the Cheaters game. I guess the advantage the enchantment has is, and you and Kenny discussed this, your roster is mostly set already, correct?
Excuse me, say that again.
My apologies. Your roster is pretty much set already, correct?
Yo, it is set. We probably got about, I would say about 8 to 9 guys coming back. We added a couple guys that's going to bring a different element. And the thing about me, man, I'm going to play that Kings basketball to where we get up and down, and it's going to be fun. And at the same time, plays will probably only be called when a timeout or a dead ball or something like that. But outside of that, we're just going to play.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm excited about the roster. So it's been on their social media, but they got Banforth and Tino Jackson at the guards, shooting guards. Mathis, Elijah Brown migrated over from Always Us over to New Mexico during then Hobson, Giddens, Drew Gordon. So, and if my memory serves me correctly, Banforth was on the roster, but I don't even think he played last year. I think he had a conflict, and so adding him alone is going to go a long way.
Oh yeah.
We lost Kenny again. Yeah, but I still am very high on the enchantment. So I actually picked enchantment to beat Eberline last year. So if the matchups would have went out,
my God.
I know Jacob and Matt were giving me the business, but I love the team last year and kind of the build of it. So I think they're going to be equally as good, if not better. And if somehow you get Alex Kirk and Cameron Barstow in, holy cow, it's going to be game over. I could definitely see them running through and getting out of New Mexico.
That's like a 50-50 with Cameron Kirk right now. And at the same time, we're adding Chad, who's also a part of the Clippers squad. He's a part of the development side. So that's a whole nother element that is going to come into play, which is good for me, to where I need some people surrounding me to where that has that great basketball knowledge, which is good. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that I don't see. So the coaching staff, there's a couple guys that are local that were part of the situation from a coaching perspective, but they're going to bring a whole nother element, which is good. But Elijah Brown, that's a huge part of what I see as far as getting up and down, because he's that guy that can get some buckets up real quick. And Mathis, he's our shooter. Like, I'm gonna let him just go with the flow and get him up, just like we did last year. I had us going at beating Eberline too, and it was kind of gave me chills from the standpoint because we were up 23 last year, and I thought, oh man. And what people don't know is, like, Larry Brown. I talked to Larry Brown before our first game, and there's a lot of ties there, and he was connected to that other situation. So I was looking forward to actually playing against him and seeing what would come of that anyway.
For
as well.
context for that, because the head coach for Eberline, Cody Toppert, I'm a Memphis fan. He was an assistant at Memphis last year. And Larry
Yep.
Brown also connected to the program now. So that's pretty cool that you would have had a shot against Larry. Now, the good news, though, is you guys did lose to Stillwater, but you did tire them out, which led to them losing by about 1 million points in the next round. So you guys definitely contributed to a TBT story by weakening them enough where Eberline was able to boat race them. So that was pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah,
So,
it was. And then I saw that game and I was all disappointed because we just got kind of discombobulated in the second half. And then with the new rules, with the change and everything, as far as the last like 4 minutes, that was a whole nother element that we didn't really incorporate at the time, but we should have.
Mhm.
But lesson learned, here we are coming in this year.
Well, it's tough for first-year alums is they have to learn the event a little bit. Now, you mentioned playing fast and loose. Do you think you'd be a good fit for this Enchantment team? I know you like to run to the corner. Like, would you be a good fit in a loose team?
Oh, yeah, they sound like they play a lot like us. We've been in it 4 years. We haven't called one play. So I definitely like the up and down style. Of course, Dan D'Antoni was Mike D'Antoni's brother. And, so he brought that NBA system to Marshall. And, we're all Marshall guys from his era. So, we did the same thing, just run up and down and players make plays.
Yeah. Now, Kenny, you obviously, again, you're someone who played a long time in the NBA. Does that sort of level of respect translate to your coaching experience? Like when you say something on the sideline, I assume people listen to you.
I mean, these guys are all grown, right? Like they have to buy in to the whole situation of what we're trying to accomplish, right? Because if we all win, get to that championship game and we win, everybody gets to eat, right? So I think we were trying to figure that out the first go round, and I think we've added a couple pieces to that component. And once again, when you talk about the NBA incorporating my 11 years and my experience, like under Larry Brown, and like I had a lot of coaches. I had 10 coaches in 11 years, but people don't really remember that. But I had a lot of coaches. But my whole thing, I want to get up and down like I played on the Kings. Like I want to run that elbow action and see what kind of feel that is and kind of go from there. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's not going to matter anyway if guys just come out and play basketball, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. If you let people know what's coming and they can't stop it, it's not much of a problem, honestly.
Man,
So
people
Charlie-
don't really understand about this altitude, man. Watch, they about to find out though. Probably the only people that are probably close with it is State, but it ain't gonna matter. I'm calling that a win right now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm calling that a win right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Rubbing off on Kenny.
There we go. And Kenny both are calling their shots right now. I love this. Okay, well, Kenny, any closing thoughts what we should know about the Enchantment, about New Mexico? Anything we need to know? Because I'm really excited about this team.
Man, I think we just have to stick within our means and play the kind of basketball that we know. Everybody that's on this team had some ties to UNM in a little bit of basketball, but I think the components that our general manager, Brandon Mason, has added, and Ryan Berryman, who are the two key guys that's bringing the team together and getting these guys together to be able to come back and play, I think they're creating a nice core of guys, because you guys got to remember, like, I'm older. I didn't play with these guys or know that much about them. I saw them all play, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, man, we just got to get up and down and play basketball, and this altitude is going to be a big difference.
Yeah. I don't like altitude personally. Charge, anything else you want to close with, Kenny?
No, I'm excited. Like I said, they for a first-year team last year really showed up, played well. You live and you learn. So I don't see these guys dropping a 23-point lead this year, and I think definitely contenders to come out of New Mexico. So I'll be watching closely, and hopefully get Alex Kirk on. We need those charge guys, and we'll see where it takes us.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. If you need me
so
again,
much, Kenny.
let me know.
Yeah,
we'll have you
will.
on for
Trust
sure.
me. I already messaged you on Twitter. We'll have you back, Kenny. Don't worry. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
cool.
It's Kenny Thomas, the head coach of the Enchantments. Thank you much, man.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one. Peace.
You too,
Take
man.
care. Appreciate it.
Wow. First
Kenny's
year.
gonna be good. I'm telling you, I was high on them last year. I'm gonna stay high on them this year.
Wow. So actually, it's funny. Well, we should close this. So Ott, having a first-year alumni team take their whippings, learn, because you guys were the West Virginia Wildcats as you sort of morphed into Herd. Like that first year, you get all the irony out, all the problems, and then after that, it's just straight ball, right?
Yeah, that first year we were a little bit short-staffed because our best player was John, and John was still a senior in college. So, I think a thing that surprises a lot of people is you don't quite realize how high of level of basketball TBT really is. Like we had 4 or 5 Division I guys on the team that year, a bunch of local guys that played college basketball. And we went out there like, oh, we're going to be fine. We're going, and then you run into, we won that first game by about 40 against the Charlotte Chess Club. And we thought, oh man, we're here for $1 million.
Great name.
We thought we're here for $1 million. Like, how are we going to spend this? And then out rolls Jared Solinger and BJ Mullins and the Ohio State crew, and they beat us by about 40. And we realized, this is a lot higher level of basketball than what you anticipate. And I think, everybody runs into that first year is you realize we got to go back to the drawing board. We got to make a couple additions. We got to add some stuff. And I'm sure the Enchantment's doing that. And I'm sure most of the first-year teams that probably don't have the experience they want to, but you definitely start to pick up the learning curve.
100%. Charged, how did Ott do tonight?
Ott did amazing. I mean, I had no expectations other than he was going to do amazing. But, hey, before we close, I know you've got to wrap it up because you have a Memphis game to watch, but I did want to touch on Florida TNT because they dropped 2 huge names. So
Blakely and Gray. Damn, that's a backcourt right there.
That would be amazing by itself, but everything's leading towards them bringing back the same core. So you got Blakeney, you got Gray, you got Dominique Jones, you got Chris Warren, you got Kenny Boynton. 5 guys of that caliber out. So I still am loving TNT to make another big run.
And Cincy, yeah. Go ahead. What do you got?
Oh, that's a big – I mean, those are big names, and all of them are high-level basketball players, and – that's what makes the TBT so special is, we have a team like that has high-level guys. And, last year, nobody even imagined a team like Team 23 make the championship. So it's funny. You have all these high-level guys, and then it's always teams come out of nowhere. So that's just what makes TBT special is, anybody can win it. And, and the teams that, last year Syracuse won it. But, I mean, normally, teams come out of nowhere and it's just interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think just evolving and expect the unexpected. I think you've said that before. You just don't know what's going to happen when you take the court. All the well-laid plans, it can go crazy. So, but amazing things. Sideline signed Shannon Bogues. So a little bit of a pull from Miami. They're pulling up a bunch of people. So who knows? Is Sideline done or they have other bombs to drop in the near future? So stay tuned to them. They're always working in the background.
Also want to know who, and I guess we'll leave with this one, is what teams are going to bring the bags of cash. A lot of teams, again, we've talked about this off camera, but a lot of teams have been teams that are alumni teams don't have to pay, or teams that have a cause don't have to pay. But some teams just bring bags of damn cash. And is that going to be a trend that causes some teams with sponsorship to be able to flex wallets they didn't have last year? So signing day was a big bang. There's a lot of signings, but there's more coming. We're not done signing players in TBT this cycle.
Where is Mike Dom?
Where is Mike Dom? Where is Carmen San Diego? Odds bringing Mike Dom to his house.
We're going to have a recruitment dinner as soon as he gets back from Italy.
That's a great note to end it. Gentlemen, this has been ZoomTheTBT signing off.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.